Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Tel Aviv. Coming up in today's newscast, Israeli police uncover a Hezbollah-funded terror cell in the West Bank. Israel plans to annex land in the Jordan Valley, and the Knesset celebrates its 67th birthday. I'm Natasha Kirchak here with the latest news in Israel. Israeli security have uncovered another terror cell in the West Bank, and this time under the command of the son of the Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. According to the Shin Bet, the Tulkarem-based cell was planning shootings and a suicide bombing. 32-year-old Jawad Nasrallah recruited the cell via social media and set up an email account to give instructions to the cell's leader on the ground. Hezbollah reportedly gave the terror group $5,000 to acquire weaponry and equipment for attacks. The five-man cell was identified as an initiative of Hezbollah's Unit 133, which allegedly sets up terror cells in Israel. All 5 members of the cell have been arrested. The Shin Bet says the unit has been largely unsuccessful and has been trying to ride the terror wave that has taken over Israel in the past few months. The Israeli government is planning to annex about 370 acres of agricultural land in the Jordan Valley, despite heightened tensions with the U.S. and the EU on settlement policy. The West Bank land is located near the ancient biblical city of Jericho and has most recently been worked on by Israeli farmers. Israeli officials say that there are no Palestinian claims on the land in question. Israel is employing an 1858 Ottoman law, which says that land which remains unclaimed for several years can revert to government property. But critics are calling the move one of Israel's largest land grabs since the 1980s. Meanwhile, it looks like the U.S. is backing the European move to distinguish Israel from the West Bank settlements.
Well, as you know, our longstanding position on settlements is clear. We view Israeli settlement activity as illegitimate and counterproductive to the cause of peace. We remain deeply concerned about Israel's current policy on settlements, including construction, planning, and retroactive legalizations. The U.S. government has never defended or supported Israeli settlements because administrations from both parties have long recognized that settlement activity beyond the 1967 lines and efforts to change the facts on the ground undermine prospects for a two-state solution. We are no different.
The U.S. State Department also says that it doesn't view the EU labeling of settlement products as a boycott against Israel.
Yeah, I would refer you to the EU for an official response to their policies. They've made clear that this is not a boycott in any way, and that the EU also made clear that they oppose boycotts against Israel. We do not view labeling the origin of products as being from the settlements a boycott of Israel. We also do not believe that labeling the origin of products is equivalent to a boycott.
Israel is planning to build an international coalition to prevent incitement to terrorism on social media. The project was unveiled by Public Security Minister Gilad Erdan, and its goal is to force Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to take greater responsibility for their content. Erdan says that it doesn't make sense that social media giants fail to claim responsibility for the content posted on the platforms they provide. On Sunday, Erdan showed the Israeli cabinet an index of incitement, which demonstrated a high correlation between anti-Israel online content and the level of violent attacks against Israelis. Several Israeli groups have taken legal action against social media for failing to stop the uploading of material that incites violence against Israel. But Erdan says that a worldwide coalition that pushes for change could be more effective than an Israeli effort alone. Some experts say the idea won't work, because the terms of service on social media platforms protect them from any legal threat. Every day, our lives are inundated with the images and words we read on social media. And lots of people complain that this constant visual content is making us forget how to really talk to one another. What are the real voices behind all of this content we're consuming? A new Israeli startup is literally trying to bring your voice back into the conversation. Izzy Livian joins us from the app Hear Me Out with more. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Natasha, for having me.
So what is Hear Me Out?
Hear Me Out, in a nutshell, is a voice-based social network. You can record, share, and listen to short audio clips. What Facebook and Twitter do to the world of text, Instagram to pictures, and Vine to video, Hear Me Out is doing to the audio world.
And how did you guys come up with this idea?
It all started, you could go 10 years back when the social network started. There was Facebook and MySpace, and people joined these networks to be able to share their real world with their followers. People come into their profile and see their likes and dislikes and their stories and their music that they like, and people would play their own music. And nowadays, the last few years, the authenticity has really disappeared from the social networks. If you go on a celebrity's Facebook page or Twitter page, you could assume it's not him literally writing the tweets by himself. There's probably a digital team behind him writing the tweets for them. If you go to Barack Obama's page, he actually has a specific signature that he writes BO to indicate that he's the one writing the tweets, because most of the time, it's not even him writing them. And Madonna and Kim Kardashian, et cetera, you can assume it's not them really writing it. So the fans that are following their favorite celebrities aren't getting the real authentic experience of following the people that they like. So that's where we are. We want to bring back the authenticity to the social networks.
So who are the main people that are using this app right now? What's the age group?
We have two distinct age groups. It's mostly 15 to 21. The younger age group, they upload a lot of music content and stories and jokes, etc. And the older age group between 30 and 40 who are looking for news and interesting content. And we have, of course, taken care of getting interesting content into the app to accommodate entirety of the age groups. But those are the two main age groups for now.
And so when people are uploading their voice content, what does this mean? Is it music? Is it news? Or people's just daily thoughts?
We have in the app itself, we have 12 different categories because everyone has different things that he wants to talk about. So younger groups will probably do a lot more music and jokes. The older groups talk about politics, news, spiritual. We have Christian groups on there putting prayers inside, and rabbis giving Torah lessons. So everyone uses it their own specific way. There's no specific target. But for the younger group, it's mostly music and jokes.
What kind of feedback are you getting from users? It's a different type of social media.
They like it a lot because the uniqueness of the app is if, let's say, for example, a comedian wants to tell a joke. So if he tweets it on Twitter, the fans really, they read the joke, it's funny and everything. But if you hear it with his own voice, it'll be a lot more fun to listen to. The same with musicians. So people that follow celebrities, they enjoy hearing the sound itself and not thinking, is that someone else writing it instead of them? Because if, let's say, Beyonce would record a new part of a new song and say, fans, what do you think about my new song? They know it's really her talking to them, so they'll enjoy it a lot more. Let's say athletes after games, when they sit after the game and they tweet the emotions about the game, it's tweeting an emotion. You really can't tweet emotions after a sports game. So if LeBron James would sit after a game and talk and record himself with the hyperventilating,
really
all the emotions,
it.
you could feel that you're sitting right next to him and enjoying it. So that's, the consumers really enjoy the more authentic feel of the social network world.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So I understand that you guys actually just closed a big deal with Ford, the car company.
Yeah, that's one of our goals with this app is we're not competing with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram on the time zone where people are looking at their screen in a boring meeting or sitting in the bathroom or in bed and tweeting. What we're looking for is people on the go. Our app is specifically designed to accommodate the people that are on the go and want to consume social networks. So one of our features in the app is called drive mode. You could get in your car, put the phone in the hands-free, press the drive mode button, and your feed will play automatically without even having to touch your phone. So a year ago, we were at this conference, and Ford really liked the idea, and we found a way to collaborate together because they were exactly launching their new multimedia system for their cars. So the last year, we've been developing with them a product that will be entirely hands-free. It's a revolution in the social network world.
And it's also a lot safer,
Exactly, because it's the only social network you could use, safe to use while you drive, because it's entirely voice-operated. You get in the car, you say, hear me out, and it will launch. You could record, share, and because the app syncs automatically with Facebook and Twitter, you'll have the entire social experience while you're driving without having to risk your life or other people's lives.
So I guess the big question is, what is the future of the app? What are you guys looking to do next?
What we're doing to do next is, as I explained, we're trying to get more and more content. Big media companies, content providers, TV shows, radio channels. We already have a few in, but we're trying to get more and more. And of course, with a connected car, which is now huge, they say by the year 2020, 75% of the new cars will be connected cars. So we're trying to really put our footstep in this market because right now we're the only social network in there right now. So we're going to continue to grow with more and more car companies. And because we passed the regulation of Ford, so it's going to be very easy for us to go to other companies because now we're already approved to be safe to use while you drive. So it'll be very easy to do the shift to other car companies.
Well, that's great. It's an amazing app, and
Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the company.
Thank you so much.
Take
Thank
care.
you for having me.
The Israeli army has announced that it will no longer draft new immigrants between the ages of 22 and 26. Until now, male newcomers have been required to serve a minimum of 6 months in the IDF, and women over the age of 20 have been exempted from serving. But with the new change in policy, men under the age of 26 will no longer have to serve at all. The Army's enlistment unit says that the required 6-month service can be an obstacle for many new immigrants, especially since new recruits are unable to take on more useful and challenging roles. The Army's new policy aims to encourage more people to move to Israel and integrate into society. Say happy birthday to the Israeli Knesset. Thousands gathered yesterday to celebrate the Knesset's 67th birthday. Guests joined hundreds of current and past Knesset members for some celebratory fun. The gathering also marked 50 years in the current Knesset building. Knesset Speaker Yuli Edelstein says the event is meant to emphasize the central role the Knesset has played in Israeli life since the establishment of the state. During the celebration, some Knesset members couldn't help but show off their non-legislative skills. It's time for our Hebrew word of the day. Many modern Hebrew words come from Arabic, which has roots in ancient Hebrew. But one of the most common dishes in the Middle East and the Arab world is originally a Hebrew word, hummus. Hummus comes straight from the Old Testament, and it's derived from the word chamutz, which means sour in Hebrew. That's not surprising since hummus has such a short shelf life. But don't let that stop you. You have to try the tasty Middle Eastern delicacy when you come and visit Israel. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast. It looks like Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high of 65 degrees. The weather should stay the same into Friday with intervals of sunshine and clouds. All right, everybody, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.98 shekels to the American dollar. Remember to sign up for our daily newsletter at ILTV.tv, and don't forget to check out our new breaking newscast every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.